Alright, hi guys. Henning here from Henning's Trains and Train Shop Weekly, and you guys also know us from their Facebook group, O-Gauge Model Railroading Tips, Tricks, and more, and also the old train farm here. What I have here is from James Bailey, and it's called the Animator Fellor. What it is a lumberjack chopping down a tree, and it has the sound effects with it and the motion and the tree falling down. We got this from him out at York, and we are going to put it on the layout. And I wanted to open it up with you just to show you what you get. It's nicely packed and so forth when you get them, and you'll open it up, and in this first bag is the little plate here with your servo motor on it. It has the servo for the lumberjack and then the servo for the tree that'll fall down, and we'll show you that as we do this. We'll also try to show a video from James on how to install this. He has a nice video instructions on this. So anyway, you pull that out. The next thing we have is another bag here, and this bag has in it the lumberjack, and nicely packed as well, so pull him out. And he's from Model Tech Studios, so nice little lumberjack there. And then you have the SD card, which has your sounds and so forth on it. It'll get plugged in. Your power supply. And these are the trees he provides. He says you can also use your own trees. So if you want to do like a one of the super trees or something like that, you can do that as well. I think that's what I'll be doing on mine, is one of the super trees from Scenic Express. Then you pull out the next piece, and this will have, you got your two buttons. We'll explain all that as we go. I'll untape this. This is your speaker, and it comes with a nice size speaker with a nice enclosure box in it. You're going to get a nice bass out of that. And then the biggest key part of it all is basically the brainchild behind everything. This is what everything plugs into, and it's from jimmystrains.com, so you can go there and get it. But you got your USB port, and then where your speakers go and your servos and so forth. So this will be very good to work with, plus your 12-volt power going in. So we'll get to this, and we'll show you exactly how to hook this in and what we're going to do with it on the layout. And
This video will be about how to install your Fellor product. In the box, you will have two tree armatures, a 5-volt power supply. In here you'll have your Fellor figure, and then this will be your mechanism. And then you'll have your SD card holder here. SD card should be already installed in the Animator. Pull the Animator box out. You will also have two switches to activate the Animator. So to remove the speaker and the animator from the box, you just pull these tape away. You got the animator unit and the speaker itself. Okay, the speaker, you'll probably want to extend the wires to where you need them to go. But for this demo, we'll just show you how to attach the speaker wires to the animator itself. The first thing we'll do is we'll just introduce you to the different ports on here. Here you have ports for the switches, and then here is for the servo motors. Up here is where the power supply will plug in, and this is where the speaker will screw in. So first we'll just attach the speaker. Phillips head screwdriver. Tighten it down until you can't tug it away. Put the other speaker wire in. So we have the speaker wires connected. Then we'll get the power supply out, and this plugs in like that. Once it's powered up, you can get your mechanism out of its package. We have two things here. We have the Fellor mechanism, which is this little rotational platform. It is this motor here. And the motors plug into motor sockets with the brown wire at the bottom of the animator. So we'll plug him in here. And then the actual tree mechanism will be the other wire, or the other connector.
As he said, make sure that the brown wire's towards the bottom.
See that?
With the servo will not
try to
work
move
right.
this a little bit, you'll notice that it can't be moved. We have two switches. We have a left switch, which in this case is black one. Your kit might come with just these wires and then two switches that you can screw the wires to. But in this case, we have this black one we'll use for the left switch. And then the right one we'll plug in here. And then if you press the left switch, it should activate it. You can hear the speaker making noise. Turn that up by turning the volume up. Once it's finished, it'll go back to its location. So at this point, we can play around with the trees. I'm just going to take one of these trees and take off the base that we don't need. And you can bend these trees as you need. They're just armatures from Woodland Scenics. You can bend them as you desire. And then that goes into this hole. Now in this case, it's a little tight. So what I recommend is you either trim these down, or you take a pin vise and drill out the hole. So I'm going to go ahead, instead of using this tree, I'm going to use a tree that I already have. You can also substitute, if you have these kind of trees, they should fit right in that hole. You probably will want to glue it in. But then, what we want to do is we want to take the Fellor figure, and when it's actually activated, we want to pull out the power plug so the Fellor is in the right location. And you're going to mount your Fellor figure to hit the tree. So what you want to do is you want to activate the mechanism so that he's actually fell in the tree. And then unplug the power. And now
you want to unplug it when the tree is
the
down.
Fellor platform will be in the right position. You can move the tree back up, and you can glue your Fellor into the location that you want. change sounds by pressing the right button.
You have entered option mode. There are 2 buttons on the top of the device. The first button will advance through a menu of options. The second button will select the option. Lumberjack chopping a tree with birds and dogs in the background. Lumberjack chopping a tree down with birds and dogs in the background, short version.
So we want the short version, so we're just going to hit the right mouse
You have
button.
successfully selected your option.
And then when you do it, it's going to be the shorter version. So have fun animating.
Alright, I got the hole cut and layout for the animated feller. I cut it oversized because in this particular section of the layout, I've got close to 1.5 inches to go down between Homosote and 2 layers of plywood because this was raised up a long time ago. But this is where I wanted it, so I put cross supports to hold it in place, and I wanted it flush with the actual Homosote so that when I go and put my grass back down here and hide it in, it'll look all natural again. So that's my first thing. I'll get this all mounted. I'll test fire everything. And then we'll get our patch of grass laid back down here and start detailing it out. Alright, I pulled my matting back. I drilled holes through here. And that's going to allow the sound to come up. And we'll put this back down. Along with this one, we'll hide this all up. So once I get my other trees and everything up in here and get my lumberjack in, should look good. And down underneath, I have the box mounted. What I did was hot glued around the perimeters, and that'll leave the sound go up. And then I'll mount the control box right up here. So I have my plugs. I'll get everything plugged up and mounted, and we'll test fire it and see what we got. Alright, by doing that, that allows the sound to come out through them holes and up towards the layout. That will work very well because it'll be right next to the tree. And I think that worked out very well. Next thing to do is to get my servos hooked in, get my patches of grass here laid out where I want them, and I think we should be in good shape. Alright, I got my little tree guy in and the animated Fellor here, and we got the speaker in. I think everything looks pretty well hidden. We got our guy chopping the tree with his buddy there with another axe. So let's hit the button and put it into motion. I think that looks pretty cool. And when it's done, it'll reset itself. And it goes back and resets. I think that's pretty neat. I did change the guy out and used a Woodland Scenics figure instead of the Model Tech Studios. I think it looks pretty cool. And then I'll put more scenery around, other trees and so forth. I think it'll look pretty good. and reset. Love it. Alright, I got everything up in place. I hot glued my speaker up where I drilled the holes through the layout so that the sound comes down. Then up in here is the hole that I cut for the animator itself for the 2 servos. And then the control box. Now this is your power coming in, which is the USB. The 12 volt you don't need to use. I got my 2 switches wired in. The one switch allows you to select what program you want to be in, and then the other switch is for the actual button, which this one here will go out on the layout for the kids to push. I might replace that with a bigger button. Then your 2 servo motors, there's 2 ports there for the servos, and the brown wires go towards this side of the box. That's very important. Once you get that all hooked in, and then you can select the mode that you want. You'll hit the button once.
You have entered option mode. There
You
are 2
pick
buttons
your
on the
option.
top of the device. The first button will advance through a menu of options. The second button will select the option.
So once you pick your option,
You have successfully selected your option.
then hit the button a second time, and that will have you the option that you selected. So now we hit it, and the little tree guy will do his thing, and the servos will work, and the tree will come down. I'll show you that in the next shot. It's pretty cool. With having the speaker this way, it projects all the sound pretty much up top. You don't really hear it from below the layout, which is great because the sound is right there by the tree. All right, we got 2 buttons. The first button that we push will give you
You have
this
entered
here.
option mode. There are 2 buttons on the top of the device. The first button will advance through a menu of options. The second button will select the option.
So we get to select our options.
Lumberjack chopping a tree with birds and dogs in the background.
All right.
Lumberjack chopping a tree down with birds and dogs in the background, short version.
Short version.
Lumberjack chopping a tree down with just birds in the background.
You got birds,
Lumberjack chopping a tree with a machine in the background.
machinery in the background.
Lumberjack chopping a tree down with no other sounds. Lumberjack chopping a tree with owl sounds in the background.
All kinds of sounds.
Lumberjack chopping a tree with Christmas sounds in the background.
Nah, we don't want Christmas sounds right now.
Lumberjack chopping a tree with 4th of July sounds in the background.
Let's do that one for our Memorial Day.
You have successfully selected your option.
We selected our option. Now, let's get the little guy to chop a tree down. Nice for the holiday. That'll go good with my Freedom Train as well. Go back up and it'll reset. Guy goes back, tree's reset. Thank you guys for watching this one on the animated tree fowler. Hope you guys go to his website and pick one up. Have a great day. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for watching us. You can find us at Henning's Trains in Lansdale, PA. And you can also find us on the Train Shop Weekly. Sometimes it's not just weekly, sometimes it's every other week. And on Facebook at the O-Gauge Model Railroading Tips, Tricks, and More. And thank you and have a good night.